Hey, how we doing? Welcome to Beautiful Lies and Ugly Truth. I didn't know we were starting with me. I'm sorry. It's been a very busy week. Very, very eventful. And we're glad to be back to bring you a lot of these topics, you know, from our perspective.
Yes, and of course, it's lovely Violet over here. And, man, woo, we got a lot to talk about. Woo.
And it's your boy Yannis Ocean G. That was a terrible intro.
It was. I mean, I wasn't ready.
I just like nobody was going to check him on it. I'm like, you know, we didn't have any music coming in or nothing.
I promise the next one will be
You just
better.
wake up.
Yes.
Next thing you know, you're on. For my Instagram followers, thank you for tuning in for Beautiful Lies Ugly Truth on this day, 7/10/2017, which is the same way forwards and backwards, just to get that out the system. Because I saw that somewhere online. Yeah, it is.
It is.
Don't
right.
You can't argue what's online.
There you
If
go.
it's online, that means it's the truth. That means it's the truth.
Goddamn
It's
right. You
online.
know what? What was I thinking? You're right.
So there's no need to get into that. So
It's crazy.
I'm surfing the internet today and everything.
Yeah.
You know, before the show. And so I'm looking, and then I see this video on co-star. Well, you might as well say star co-star of In the House, LL Cool J's old 90s sitcom with Maia Campbell.
In the house.
And she's looking bad. Now, it's not looking bad in terms of, because honestly, I thought it was an old video when I first seen it. So I was just like, well, why do they still? I thought she had got help. Evidently, after she was on Fix My Life with the Van Zant, Ayanna, what's her name?
Iyanla Van Zandt.
Yeah, Van Zant. Her life wasn't fixed. Her life wasn't fixed. And so, you know, and they said it was this rapper. First off, if he's a rapper, I've never heard of him, nothing. I think his name is T Hood.
You ever see here like a combination of two rapper names or some shit? Like,
Yeah, pretty much. And that's what they always say nowadays. Everything
Pocket
is
Smalls.
Atlanta based. Like, yo, rapper is starting to be what you can put on the application too. Because I never heard of this cat, and they were just like Atlanta rapper.
T
But I
Hood.
never heard of him. But anyway, enough about him with that. So
T Hood track.
He's videotaping her, and she's talking about like when she had got raped or something to that degree, and you know, doing some sexually explicit things for money and drugs. And
Shit was bad.
he's actually, you know,
Horrible look.
he's being real condescending with it. You know, he's filming it. He's being funny about it. And when I mean to tell you, I didn't laugh at all. Like I didn't laugh because the first thing I'm thinking is this is what we do to our own people. Like this is what we do. Like we make fun of each other, and I'm talking about like when we're at our worst. We're not talking about Johnny Knoxville jackass. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like real life things like that. And then, you know, so I'm watching the video because I'm trying to I'm not saying I'm trying to get anything out of it, but it's more so to the point of what's your point of doing it. So then he has a statement that he puts back on social media. He was talking about how if it was a white woman, y'all wouldn't be upset about it, this, that, and the third. If it was Lindsay Lohan or whatever these other
Amanda
white chicks
Bynes.
that get coked up and everything else that actually get treatment, they get treatment
Yeah,
for
they
their
cleaned up,
addictions
right?
and stuff,
Right.
and then we wouldn't have said anything about it. So that was his statement, and I guess in his mind he thought he dropped the mic with whatever he was talking about.
Pick that shit back up, dummy.
Yeah, because you said there's some explaining.
It was just sad on all levels. Like it was sad starting with him because you could tell he's a young cat, doesn't know too much. And this is me just being speculatory. Yeah, I can say he doesn't know too much. Name's T Hood, never heard of you, so whatever. This is how you're introducing yourself to the world. But
That Maia
back
Campbell
to
video.
back to Maia Campbell. The thing is, in the black community, we still to this day look at mental illness as taboo. Like, nah, that's not us. Like, no, like we are subject to all these things. We're prone to get the exact same things. The problem is we don't get the help that's involved with it because in our minds we're supposed to be super strong all the time, and we're not supposed to look for help for anything. We're supposed to face addiction alone. We're supposed to face mental illnesses alone, and you're just supposed to work right through them, and that's it. And I just don't agree with that. So
I don't either. Honestly, I think that it's a shame that you have to have people that find humor of other people's misery. And to me, It really bugs me, like, seeing the video, because again, just the fact that someone is in this help and they have been down this road before, and to see them back at this road again is just really, upsetting. It really did hurt me. So.
Yeah, I don't really feel that bad.
Why not? Not that you're supposed to.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Not
I
that you're
just,
supposed to, it's just-
like everybody's got a sob story. I understand that, but I mean, yeah, it's really,
This is
sad to
RadioFire.com.
see.
Yours
It's
truly,
really sad
John
to
McKay,
see.
in here. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
We're
just
trying
about
not
that.
to, bro.
Yeah, right.
Like, look, like,
I feel, it's a sad story because, we know who she is.
Right.
But at the same time, she knew what crack was going to do to her, right? Like, we all know what crack is.
Yeah.
We all knew it. We all know what crack is, right?
but I think it's deeper than the actual drug.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, B.
This one, yeah, I'm not feeling it.
So you need to. It needs to be somebody like DMX for you to empathize with.
No,
I don't think I would care.
I think it's the whole drug addiction thing that I don't.
So you have no empathy for.
I do.
That's a
have
sickness.
empathy. Yeah, it is. It is a sickness, but it's also one of those sicknesses that you can
So hold up. So what you're saying is basically never mind. See, because I think the view that I'm looking at it is you're looking at it in terms of the drug. All right, drugs is a choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
In some instances,
it's a choice.
yeah.
Okay, for the most part, let's just say for the most part, it's a choice.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
Mental illness, I don't think that is a choice.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody
I do
nobody
not make
chooses
fun
that.
or do not sympathize with
And
her
what if you
mental illness.
combine mental illness and drug use?
And see, that's where I have the issue with.
But
Like,
that might- I think
because
that's her
feel-
situ-
I
that's her
definitely feel bad
situation.
'cause
She got mental-
definitely
she has
looks
mental-
out of her mind. Looks out of her mind. But at the same time, she chose to do the drugs. Now, maybe because of her mental illness, she chose to do drugs. So that's a case within itself. But drugs as a choice, I don't feel sympathy for people who do drugs. I'm sorry.
So you feel more sympathy for the fact of her mental illness?
Yeah, being
not
out
the
there
fact
and having
of-
nobody to help her, nobody's able to rein
Right,
her
but
in.
just not the fact of
That's
her-
sad.
But that's the whole thing.
Not the drug
Okay,
addiction.
I hear you in terms of the drugs, but I think we're still leaving out the mental illness because that's the drugs is what she's using.
Yeah,
to
what she
medicate.
self-medicating,
That's
right,
self-medicating,
self-medication, right.
and
Right.
you know what I'm saying, like that. It's like that's part of the reason why she's doing the drugs and things like that. And it's not like we're not seeing Vanilla Ice who actually suffered through some forms of mental illness and deep depression.
Yeah.
And I saw a show when they were talking to Vanilla Ice, and they also said, they asked him, do you know how much money Vanilla Ice had in his bank account when he wanted to commit suicide? He had $20 million in the bank.
Damn, Ice.
Wow.
$20
damn,
million
Rob Van Winkle.
dollars in the bank.
Money doesn't
In
buy
the bank,
happiness.
but yet he still wanted to end it. So we don't talk about his drug use because, first off, he was cracking it, coking it up, and he was able to afford it.
Right.
This is why we don't talk about it,
broke.
because we're getting concentrated on the fact that he has money, and it looks like, so Vanilla Ice is not on nobody's street corner, he's not in nobody's gas station for his money for drugs. So we can ignore,
rich bum.
he's just, so now we're just concentrated on the fact that, he's mentally depressed, he has illness. But the fact that Maia Campbell actually doesn't have the resources
Right.
to fund her drug habit, which is spawned, I personally think, from the fact of the mental illness. Like, we look at Hollywood and stuff. I want to go to Hollywood. I want to be in the lights. I want to do all that stuff. And I hear all these crazy stories about how people, like, once you get into this industry and things like that, you got homosexuality, which is regular every day if you're around certain people. You got pressures from your family because in most of these cases, the people that are in Hollywood, they're the ones that are supporting their whole family.
Right.
So it's not like, it's just like, oh, well, he got a job, she got a job, she's just taking care of herself. No, now all of a sudden, you're paying everybody's rent.
Yeah.
You're paying everybody's mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pressure. You know what I'm saying? If those roles aren't rolling in, you start to get around people and you feel you have to start doing things because you need to be in certain groups for these roles and things like that to happen. Now, you would think to yourself, in the case of Maia Campbell, okay, she's around LL Cool J. That was his first show. LL Cool J was a platinum rapper. He was just getting his name out there in terms of TV. So he's not the first person you go to. He's not a Will Smith at that time. You see what I'm saying? That can get you in movies. And I'm only using, excuse me, we're talking about Maia Campbell, but it's more than just her. It's a lot of other Maia Campbells around.
Todd
Lindsay
Bridges.
Lohan and them are her, but with resources. That's the only difference. So we sympathize and empathize with her. And yes, he's right. If it was somebody white, I probably wouldn't care. But I probably wouldn't make, I know for a fact I wouldn't make fun of it either. I still wouldn't make fun of it. So he's wrong in terms of that. But I'm sorry, I'm concerned about my people. I'm concerned about my people just like everybody else is.
Yes.
And I want to segue real quick. Talking to my wife right before I'm getting dressed for the show and everything. Long story short, she works on her job. She works. This guy's African. There was a situation with an African teacher who actually
Driving a cab, African.
no, African, like, I guess for like the Serengeti. Like
sandals
like
and
that.
jeans?
But no, these ain't no bum ass niggas. Like, they got PhDs and all that
Okay.
up there.
Dress shoes and jeans.
But the whole thing is this.
Bluetooth.
It was a situation where the African woman and the person who's in charge, who happens to be African, I'm talking about he's in charge. This is Morgan State. And I'm going to leave it at that. You know, something like that. So he's up there. It was a situation. The lady was kind of wrong, but the fact that the guy who's in charge really didn't check her. You know, he kind of reprimanded a little bit, but not so much. And my wife felt that, hey, this could have been done differently. I understand you know her. And so she told me the whole story. And the first thing I told her, I said, you know what? I understand what you're saying, and what you're saying is correct. But you know what? Everybody else is open with their bias except for black people. We're the only ones that try to reverse it and be like, you know what? I don't want it to look like I'm only doing this because you're black. And that's bullshit, because everybody else does. Everybody else does it unapologetically. With no problem. Jews have no problem saying, yes, I put them down because they're Jewish. Africans, white people, whoever, we're the only ones that try to change the narrative because we're afraid of what other people might say. And that's BS. And it's the exact same thing. So I don't want to hear all this.
So you're saying stoop to their levels?
It's not about stupid to their level.
It
You
is.
gotta take care of your
playing
own.
that game.
But my thing is that as black people, we are known to have style, finesse, flavor, whatever you want to call it, swag. So there's a certain way that there's a certain way that you could do something that doesn't look blatantly racist, and we could do it without being obvious. You know what I'm saying? You can do it without being blatantly obvious.
I didn't say racist, I said bias.
To me, there's no difference between bias and racist other than the factor of race. You can be biased by somebody because they grew up in your neighborhood, or biased because he's from the streets and I'm from the streets.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean? But you ain't got to be like blatantly like, no, get the fuck out because you ain't from the streets. You know what I mean? But you can just calmly do the shit.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
Then nobody knows.
Come in.
Let me ask you this. Okay, I can get into the fact of not being blatant. Nope, the rest of the ethnicities, they aren't blatant either. They just do it. And it's done 1,000 times, so then it becomes blatant. But the thing is,
But here's
they're
why
not apologizing.
they winning though. See, we on the come up, so all the rules don't apply to
Are
us.
we on the come up?
We at the bottom of the totem pole.
They're gonna take this from me too.
Yeah,
So
we at the
you
bottom
gotta
of the
chill.
totem pole. We can't use the same rules as the people in power because we are the insurgents.
We may be the insurgents, and I understand that, but that's the whole thing. And on top of that, since we might as well discuss this as well too, because I want everybody to get in on this. I'm sorry, I honestly don't believe there's no such thing as a racist black person, especially when it's systematic. I'm sorry, like the fact. Okay, back. Talk to me.
You just ready to open it. He's ready to go in.
Yeah, I'm ready to go in. Let's go in. I'm ready to go in.
Look for real nigga here now.
First of all, I think being racist is just being racist against other races. We're racist against other races. Period.
Okay, Ben.
So-
Give me an example of how we're racist